Phantoms, a hateful spirit and a very special guest await the team in Cheshire.
What's the matter?
And this week I'd like to invite you to join us investigating one of Britain's scariest and oldest locations. This is Most Haunted and this is Old Hall, Tatton Park.
A building stood on the site from ancient times, and the remains of the medieval village of Tatton Green lie buried within the grounds. The current hall was enlarged to its present size in the late 1500s, and in later years was used as a substantial farmhouse. The building is said to be alive with spiritual activity, with reports of an unpleasant misogynist present, claims of an eerie air of disappointment pervading the atmosphere of the hall, and tales of a mischievous spirit who delights in playing tricks on the unwary. It is even suggested that the door to the spinning room acts as a portal for paranormal energy.
And so, bearing all that in mind, who would be mad enough to spend the night completely alone and in the dark here in this secluded spot? Well, of course, it had to be Jeff Adams and Ian Cash, and this is what happened.
We're starting off in the Great Hall, and it seems extremely quiet.
It's very, very quiet.
How do you feel in here?
Like, it's just so quiet. It's unusually quiet because there's normally creaks and...
If there's anyone here, any spirit we're calling out to, please give us a sign that you're here. Can you whistle for us? I'm going to whistle first. Did you hear that whistle?
No.
All I heard there was a faint... Wish you'd heard that, because it did sound like it came from behind you as well.
Right.
I mean, no, quite far away from behind you.
Can you whistle again?
The Great Hall could prove to be a very frightening place tonight for us girls, as its resident ghost is said to have a severe dislike for women. Some have felt themselves being slowly strangled by a rope or cord. Others complain of having their hair violently pulled, and some have been chased out by marching footsteps. But it's not just the Great Hall that echoes with the memories of life lost. The whole of this ancient place houses many different wandering souls.
At the bottom of a flight of stairs leading to the master bedroom, I did feel a young woman who had been domestic help didn't think that we were suitable to walk upstairs into the master bedroom. She had a tragic passing, the only accident or suicide that I pick up as I walk around, and I feel that she fell downstairs or was deliberately ended her own life that way. She was very strong in the master bedroom. She was very protective, and she wanted me to know that she wasn't happy that I was there in his bedroom.
The floor here in the servants' quarters vibrates with the heavy footsteps of an unseen phantom, and people feel as though they're being watched when completely alone. Loud banging noises have been heard in the dead of night coming from the main bedroom when it's empty, and the smell of freshly baked bread has been witnessed here in Mrs. Gathercole's room many times. A
particularly nasty entity called Tom is said to lead the hauntings here in the kitchen and dining area. In life, he was a violent alcoholic and a wife-beater who ended up drinking himself to an early demise. In death, his legacy remains the same, as many feel a hostile presence all around this area. Some have seen his dark shape wandering from room to room, while others have felt him as he pushes them aside in his endless quest to cause misery to all in his way. But now I have to introduce you to our very special guest, who will attempt to stay the night with us. Carol, we're all very excited about you being here. Is this a first for you, investigating the paranormal?
This is the first time I've ever been asked to chase ghosts. I'm so excited, Yvette. I don't know what to expect. I mean, I'm expecting that cup and saucer to start rattling away in overdrive any minute.
Gosh, that would be fantastic if it did. What about you as a family when you were growing up? Was your mum ever into sort of ghost stories, or your father? Were you ever told ghost stories around the fire or anything like that?
My mum was certainly far too pragmatic to go on any ghost busting or ghost chasing missions on a Saturday afternoon. And I was always very disappointed when she was Prime Minister that I never encountered any ghosts in 10 Downing Street, because there just must be some. It's been the home of Prime Ministers since the 1730s, and all their portraits are up the main central staircase. And I just used to imagine that when there was another scandal or crisis, all the previous Prime Ministers or their spirits would make sarcastic remarks about the current incumbent. I bet they do, but Number 10 is quite a busy place. And somebody told me ghosts are quite shy, so perhaps they just did it behind the scenes.
Well, I really hope that you're going to have a very eventful night. And even if we're talking now, I can hear tapping going on. So can you hear it?
Yes.
That's really quite loud.
It's not the odd job repairman, is it, working late?
I hope not. I think we're in for a good night. Would Dr. Kieran O'Keefe's usual scepticism be tempered by the presence of our distinguished guest? I asked him what he expected of the coming investigation. Well, Kieran, here we are in Old Hall, Tatton Park, a secluded area. And I have to say, filming today has been actually quite difficult because we've had rappings, groaning noises. It's been really strange.
Yeah, the activity has already started, even just with doing pieces to camera, and it's certainly something to look out for later on tonight. Doing vigils and even on the walk-arounds, people being very perceptive about feet, about maybe walking on floorboards, that sort of thing. But it's great that it's already started.
Now, what do you think about the fact that a lot of the rooms in the property take us back to different time periods? Do you think that's going to affect everybody mentally?
Possibly, yes. On the vigils, if people do have any experiences or they see anybody, suggestion may be playing a role, and also stereotyping. If people see an apparition in the 1940s room, for example, I presume it'll be a 1940s apparition, the same in a Tudor room, that sort of thing. So people have to be very aware of that and try not to let the visual prompts influence their experience.
One of the entities here is supposed to be a gentleman who was a wife-beater, an alcoholic, and he has an intense dislike for women. And it's been known that some women in here have felt things around their throat, they've been pushed aside, and Kath has already experienced being pushed. Do you think we have to be careful, especially the girls, about sort of the suggestion of that?
Definitely, yes. We've been talking about it earlier on today, and some of the female members of the crew are aware. We may actually be conducting vigils with just females. So there is that suggestion effect to worry about. But at the same time, we're an investigative team. If phenomena happens only to women, it makes sense that we do conduct vigils that are female only.
What would the team's resident medium, David Wells, make of Tatton Old Hall?
He's drunk. He's clearly drunk. He's been killing animals, so I can even smell that blood. He particularly dislikes women, I would say.
Oh, nice.
It's an aggression thing. It's someone grabbing me by the throat. Do you know, he's a real man's kind of man. Do you know what I mean? That
Macho.
kind of hunting, shooting, fishing, beat the wife up, drink the booze.
Oh, nice. It was time for Tatton Old Hall to reveal its secrets, so our guest Carol Thatcher joined us.